time for your weekly dose of pop culture
with Cassie and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Saturday night. Hey. I am Kathy, along with my brother
Kenny.
And this is Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. Every Saturday night we come on, we do our brother and sister bonding thing and just yap about some pop culture topic that basically I finally got you to stop eating. Now I got to get you to stop drinking so quickly. We talk about whatever pop culture topic, basically that Kenny picks. Coming up is going to be the horror show with our number one pop culture kid, and that is Ed Brown. Ed Brown in the house. Cousin Lisa.
Dion's gonna be on that one too.
Dion's going to be on there as well. Yes, cousin Lisa. Hey. Pop culture kid. I was trying to bring up Ed. Yeah, there he is. Ed Brown.
Ed Brown. We're gonna get down with Ed Brown.
This TRL count. Oh man. Whoa.
TRL. You know what?
Whoa, that's a good question.
That's a good question. It was a talk show. They did interview people.
They did interviews. They surely did. Well, again, tonight's topic is talk shows. Wow. And you know why I like this topic, Kenny? And I think because we're both these latchkey kids. I remember so well, coming home after school. And again, if you weren't watching the syndicated shows, the Munsters and Gilligan's Island, I'm sorry, you were watching the talk shows, like the Merv Griffin and Mike Douglas, and just can I tell my Mike Douglas story, or is it too early in the show? I don't know. Where do you want to start? Because the talk shows can go all over the place.
Yeah, a talk show can go all over the place. I'm sorry, I'm fixing my beard here. It's kind of unruly. I didn't comb it before the show started. No, I'm not shaving it. I'm going to grow it longer so I can braid it.
Shave it.
No, we're going to braid it. I might do 2 braids. I might do 1 braid. But imagine, because I do the spoken word thing and I perform, imagine me getting up with a braided beard and being a performer. It's just so hip, so cool, so i.e. now.
Bless. Okay. We're going to start. You know how we had to start a GoFundMe to get your equipment up to date?
Yeah.
We're going to have to start a GoFundMe to shave that thing off. Oh, God. What is
Speaking of that, I had a friend, and this kind of reminds me, because everybody, all my family wants me to shave this off. The girls want me to shave. The girls are like, don't braid that, Dad, and this, that, and the other. I have a new friend, a new poet friend, who said something to me the other day when they found out I had an Android.
Now that was actually another show we did. Probably on the replay. I'll put a link up here somewhere.
Yeah,
but so that you can see the Android versus Apple show.
Yeah, but this person said something to me, and they're like, yeah, you need an iPhone. I'm like, no, the Android works good. He goes, I gotta get you to get an iPhone. I'm like, it's not. Look, you gotta stand behind the line of my family, my parents, my sister, my kids, and most of my friends on getting me to change to, an iPhone. And she looked at me, she goes, challenge accepted. I said, okay, Barney Stinson.
Challenge accepted. Well, whether you have an iPhone or an Android, you can call us with your favorite talk show. What did I do with the phone? I just set it aside somewhere. Okay. Make sure I have the phone jacked in, and
and
I
on.
think I have it programmed right because at one point, and that's the nice thing about Apple, I could not accept numbers that I didn't know.
You can do that. You can do that on an Android.
Yeah, I can do it on the Apple too, not accept numbers, but that doesn't work for the show because if somebody calls and I don't know the number, I need to be able to accept the numbers in so that I can, so that they can come up
Yeah.
on
Well,
show and talk to us about their favorite talk shows as we dive in. And Kenny, I'm going to preface this tonight show. Usually I try to come up with some graphics and some pictures, and lately I've been doing slideshows. But you know what? School is starting, so there's just no time for that this week, and probably not next week because teachers come back on Monday. Um,
ooh,
and kids come back the following Monday. So it is
ooh.
on like popcorn,
The
and
kids are back.
the kids are back. The
The
boys are
kids
back in town.
The
So
boys are back in town.
with our district
Yeah,
going
yeah,
optional
yeah.
on the mask thing, but hey, um,
Wait. How did they perform? How did they perform that song in the movie 48 Hours? Boys are back in town. He goes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
Remember
know the same rule.
the bus boys when they were doing it, and he goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't remember that? Okay,
I do remember that.
that's okay. That's just me. I'm sorry, my bad.
You want to start in the morning or start late night?
Hold on
Or
a second.
start on
Hold
cable?
on a second. I'm getting comfortable. I'm taking off my shoes.
Whoa! Stop the
I gotta get comfortable. We're gonna be talking about this. I gotta get comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. So, but Lisa
Get in your
says
zone.
she like Ricky Lake and Gerardo Rivera. I forgot to put Gerardo Rivera. I forgot about his talk show. That's gonna be the question tonight. Does TRL count?
Does TRL count? And you know what? Because I mean, I'm sure
Heather
we
asked that question.
started to start off the list with some of the morning shows, and everybody knows like Good Morning America and the Today Show have been around for ages. I don't know whether you would consider those talk shows in the vein that we were talking talk shows because those are more like morning news programs. Although I guess
Yeah,
on
but
the Today Show when they do that
they do
last
interviews.
hour, it's more talk showy format.
They do the interviews, and then they do the things where I don't know. I used to always watch Good Morning America. They do the thing where, they have, entertainers come on and perform. They talk to them, and then they have the one lady comes on with all the different sales and different stuff and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a talk show.
That's a talk show.
They're talking.
All right.
You know what else is a talk show?
What's a talk?
You know what else is a talk show? Kathy can explain pop culture.
It's a talk show.
Podcast talk show.
Every once in a while, we are fortunate enough to have guests, to have special guests. We are really excited for that horror show that's coming up because we don't know enough about horror movies and the genre. So we are going to have kind of a Ed and Dion takeover, and that's kind of cool to have our pop culture audience kind of come take the reins, and so that'll be cool. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm hitting all kinds of buttons, and I didn't realize the ticker was running across the bottom. But hey, hopefully people got to see that, and they can check you out.
Make sure if you're on Kathy. I'm sorry. If you're on YouTube or you're on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture, make sure you leave comments in the comments so we know you're there and we can shout you out and contribute to the conversation and everything else because it's really fun in the comment box. And you don't, usually in the comment box, if you're new, they usually tell me how handsome I am. You don't really have to do that. But if you want to, it's okay.
So again, our big question when we talk shows because see, I don't even think the morning shows really count. When I'm thinking talk shows, I'm thinking of those daytime talk shows. And if you look at the list of some of the shows that you mentioned on here, you have Rachel Ray, which to me is more a cooking show than a talk show.
Yeah, I know, but she has people on there and they sit down to table and they have a talk.
So here's the thing. I think a talk show, you need to have probably an opening monologue or bit. You have to have guests. If you are a real serious talk show, you got a band or a
DJ.
DJ. Because you know what? Like back in the old days, like when you had people like Dinah Shore, and she was just like out there, performing and interviewing and talking to people. That was a talk show. Mike Douglas. That was a
That
talk
was
show.
a talk
Like,
show.
'cause, and I'll tell my Mike Douglas story. See, Kathy is
Ed Brown's
100%
in that.
correct. And Kathy is always
Ed,
correct,
don't
especially when Kathy
Ed
says
Ed.
things like Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
No,
That is
why
it.
you why you had to take it there. Well, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to. Die Hard is a
Hey,
Christmas
Dad.
movie. Hey, Dad, how you doing? See, Ed, see, if you give them an inch, they take a yard. Look at that.
You know what? We're going to just clone this comment and refer back to it often.
No, we're not. No, think that. Okay. What is this?
That
Whatever.
comment should be in
See,
the
Ed,
Twitter.
that's a big can of worms you didn't want to open up because now she's back on that Die Hard trip because she doesn't want to admit that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
All right. Okay, we're having fun. But no, the talk show. I got to tell my Mike Douglas story. I got to tell my
Okay,
Mike Douglas story. Mike Douglas.
You're like itching for this Mike Douglas story. Go ahead.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and Ed can do the fact check. And I think Mike Douglas was national, but he started out local.
Yes.
And I believe local to Philadelphia area, but Mike Douglas was in the vein of those, like I call them old school talk shows, the good stuff, where you did the interviews and different things. And actually, one year in, I believe it was middle school, we had an assignment where we had to write to, or it might have been in high school, we had to write to someone famous. And you actually got extra credit if they wrote you back. And I remember one of my classmates, they actually wrote a letter to Tony Randall, and he actually sent the letter back with corrections in red ink. Classic.
That is classic Tony Randall, man.
I think and see, Ed Brown, fact checker, number one pop culture kid, American talk show host. Oh, he began in Cleveland. Why did I think? Westinghouse Broadcasting now, and the show went to national syndication and was moved to Philadelphia. All right, so I knew there was a Philly connection, and whenever we can make those Philly connections here on the Pop Culture Kids show, we definitely do. But anyway, you had to write someone famous.
Okay.
Now, and I think I might have wrote to Maya Angelou, and I don't think she wrote me back, but that's okay. I met her years later in college. But in any case, Carol Chandler.
Name drop. Name drop. Name drop. Go ahead. Name drop. I'm sorry, my bad. Name drop. Name
All right, shut up. Let me tell my story. Don't make me smack you. Okay. So Carol, I remember Carol wrote to Alex Haley because again, we're dating ourselves because it was back in the late 70s, early 80s, and she wrote to Alex Haley, and he didn't answer her letter either, I guess before the school year whenever we had to get these answers. But Alex Haley, and I know because I read some of Carol's letter and I knew what she had written. And he was on Mike Douglas. He was on the Mike Douglas show, and he talked about and referred to her letter, which tripped me out. And years later, I actually went to the Museum of Broadcast in New York because at the time you could pull different shows and different things. I actually went back and pulled that show when I was much older because I was like, did I dream that or imagine it? Because it was before VHS or Betamax, and if we got any young people watching, Google it. Because I don't have time to go down the VHS rabbit hole. But I think we still have VHS around here. But thankfully, when I did comedy, the only record of my comedy is on VHS, if I can even find it. And if I could, there's nothing to play it on. In any case. But Alex Haley actually read and referred to her letter on the Mike Douglas show. And I was sitting there. I was at grandmom's house too. And North Philly. Anyway, but I was like, that's Carol's letter he's talking about. I was like, it was tripping me out, and it was pretty cool. But again, he didn't write back to her in time to get the extra credit she needed for the class. So I don't think he's going to be writing now either, because
No, I don't think he's
Mike
right.
Douglas are
Yeah.
dead. But
Yeah, Mike Douglas, Maya Angelou. Who else did you mention?
Carol Chandler.
No. Celebrity. Tony Randall.
Oh, Tony Randall. Yeah.
All dead celebrities. That's how old we are.
That's how old we are. But
That's how old we
but
are.
I think you can't say Dinah Shore and people like Mike Douglas without mentioning Merv Griffin, because Merv Griffin did a very similar type talk show in that same format where they interviewed celebrities and special guests, and every once in a while there's another one you left off here too, because
Well,
go ahead.
I
Um,
want to say. I want to say. As soon as you mention Mike Douglas, everyone automatically says Tiny Tim
Tiny Tim.
because he was
Okay.
always on Mike Douglas show. He was always on the show. Like Mike Douglas had him on all the time. And actually, I think Tiny Tim got married on the Mike Douglas show.
Did he?
Was it the Mike Douglas show? He got married on Ed. Ed.
Ed.
it's,
Fact check.
it's like that scene in
Fact
the
check on
cartoon.
all three.
It's like that scene on the cartoon Lion King at the
Mhm.
end where they go. It was the hyenas, and one hyena's name's Ed, and they all go Ed, and Ed goes. But go ahead. I don't know. Okay, it's just me. That's me. Okay, but
When
anyway,
Ed hosts the show, who's gonna do? You're gonna have to go and fact check for him.
I thought you would fact check.
Okay, I'll go fact check then.
Because I'm gonna sit back and watch the show.
Well, when we talk about no with the daytime talk shows,
He's married on Johnny Carson.
he was married on Johnny Carson, so that shifts us to
No,
the
I think he
nighttime
was married. I think he was married on Mike Douglas. I'm gonna have to fact check that myself. He's married on Mike Douglas, I believe. I think Ed's wrong.
stuff. What?
I think Ed's wrong.
No. That can't be.
Okay, I'm checking this out myself. I think Ed's wrong. He's wrong.
Well, you know what? And I think what happened with talk shows, like I know in the 70s and the 80s, that it was, very kind of like that, just like celebrity chat and very kind of uh, family oriented and entertainment wise. But then it kind of took a shift somewhere, I think in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, when with the coming of folks like Oprah and Morton Downey Jr. Was it Morton Downey Jr.?
Morton Downey Jr.
Here's another.
Audrey's like
Ed
Ed
is
is
never
never wrong.
wrong.
Okay, I fact checked it, and Ed is right. I concede.
Ed is never wrong.
Ed's right. Ed is wrong.
There you go. So Ed is right. And let's remember, Kathy is 100% correct.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, let it go.
Is there a way to heart a comment? I gotta go in and just
No, heart the comment. Audrey is wise. Look at everybody complimenting. Deanna and I have it covered. Deanna, you have the fact checking covered.
There is love in the pop culture kid air. So we are one.
Audrey is wise. Ed is never wrong. Oh man, this is just too much bootlicking around here, man. I'm just saying. Kathy is 100% correct. But nobody's got anything to say about Kenny. No.
Okay, we'll say something nice about Kenny here. I'll type it in the comments. Here you go, Kenny.
No, it's not the same. If I gotta ask for the comment, that Kenny is here.
You're here. It's a good vibes night. All right, let's keep the good vibes. Well, you know what? Like I said, I like the days of like the Mike Douglas show and Merv Griffin, Dinah Shore. Like, I don't know. To me, it seems like that's when talk shows were fun. But then somewhere in the late 80s, it started getting a little ugly.
Yeah, well, you had
Or
shows
maybe it
like
started getting real. I blame all this. You know who I blame it on? The real
who?
world. The real world. MTV's the real world.
You
All
think?
this
No,
reality show,
because
all this
that was that. I mean,
reality
no.
TV
That
show
well, the
nonsense.
reality TV I blame on the real world because that was the '90s, and once the real world started, everybody wanted
That
reality
just
TV on everything, and
it
I don't watch reality TV. I really
it
don't.
uncovered a Pandora's box that we still have not recovered from. That's all I'm saying.
And
But I
and
know
it
with
hit rock
shows like
bottom with The
Morton Downey
Bachelor,
Jr. and Jerry
Jerry
Springer,
Springer, shows like that.
Oprah, when she first started out, it was like, oh, let's grab the sensational like headlines and those kind of stories. And then you have folks like Dr. Phil and wasn't there another guy? What was the guy
I
who
don't.
was like he was either Morton Downey Jr. or Jerry Springer's um like
Maury,
like
Maury Povich.
he was like a bodyguard for them and then he had
Oh
his own
yeah,
talk
Steve
show.
Bilko or something like that. He
Yeah.
got his own show,
Yeah.
which made no sense. And
And then, also Sally Jesse Raphael, I would put her in that category of those
yeah, I
kinda, like,
never watched her
played on
show.
sensational,
Yeah, I never watched her show.
Mm.
But I mean, Oprah got into the more serious stuff though. She turned around and got into the more serious stuff, and she had a good show going for years.
Mhm.
You know who else was on? I didn't put it on our list, but you know who was on the talk show list? That a couple of the lists that I was looking at.
Mhm.
The two shows I didn't put on there because I didn't. I thought they were more entertainment shows. Soul Train and American Bandstand was on the talk show list.
See, I wouldn't consider those talk shows, like,
I
'cause
wouldn't. I
they
those are
really
entertainment. Yeah,
you know what? If they okay, because see, that kind of brings us kind of around because I think like after that kind of spat of like the Maury Povich show and you're the daddy and even Montel Williams, I think he kind of played in that sphere because they were kind of taking real life people and their situations and in my opinion exploiting them a bit,
yeah.
but I think it kinda turned around when Rosie O'Donnell had her talk show, and I know you don't have her on the list, but I think she was bringing a return to that kind of, um, Mike Douglas type talk show,
But yeah, the
and you know what?
celebrities
I
come
had a
on and you talk to
prop
them.
that I was gonna bring, and I left it in the other room, and because I used to carry it on my bag for years. It was this kinda and it's kinda dry rot, but it was like this, spongy toy, and it had, like, all these little springs, and she would launch them into the audience, and I know one time I went to watch I think I saw her show, like, twice because it was out in New York, in the audience, and she would toss these things out into the audience, and one time I caught one, so I had one, and I used to dangle it on my bag and my
Oh,
keychain.
you were at the Rosie O'Donnell show taping?
Yes, I went to a couple
You
of
would
Rosie
have to be.
O'Donnell.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I was in New York, but again, I think her talk show was kinda calling back to that age of, like, of the Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas show where it
Bring
was
the
kinda
celebrities
fun.
out. Let's learn more about them.
Yeah,
Let's
but
push whatever they're into now and whatever movie they got out and this, that, and the other. Let's not have people
exactly.
on there asking like who the daddy is.
Ah, that's a good one. Inside the Actor Studio with James Lipton. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? What's your favorite word? No, I'm sorry, but also because I think out of Rosie O'Donnell, then you got talk shows like Ellen, because I think
Yes.
hers talk show was a callback to that. But I think that's ending now as well. That
Yeah, she's had a lot of controversy lately, so I think she's ending her show amid all the controversy.
mm,
But Ellen, But when I talk about, there's also the View and the Talk.
Well, before you go to the View and the Talk, I think you really need to talk about um, Regis live with Regis and Kelly Lee, because I think that, again, usually the format for talk shows was kind of one host kind of manning the whole thing. And then when you had Regis and Kathy Lee, then Regis and Kelly, then Kelly and Mike, then Kelly and what's his face?
Kelly and what is this guy's? The guy from American Idols. Oh, Ryan Seacrest.
No, see, you ruined the joke. You should just call him what's his face, because he's on
Yeah.
every show,
Yeah,
but
he is on every show.
rather than
He
give him
gets
air.
he gets around. He's like a Tupac song. He gets around. Um,
So, but like, because they started that morning talk show format, kind of, it was like the late morning. That's why I would consider like Good Morning America and Today Show more newsy, but it was followed by like Regis and Kathy Lee. And with the success of that, I think that's where the View would come in, because the View was before the Talk. So I think the Talk was kind of an answer to the View,
yeah.
because I think it started the Talk, and then so you had the View, the Talk, and then the Real. So it's just like,
Can
how
I say
about
something?
the unoriginal?
Can I say something too?
Yes.
After Janet Jackson and Whoopi Goldberg and Sandra Bernhardt, Kelly Ripa. Kelly
Ripa.
Kelly Ripa is one of my crushes also.
Okay.
I think when she finally decides to get divorced from that guy, she could do much better to come
Mark
over to the.
Consuelos?
I'm much better looking than Mark Consuelos, and I'm
Okay.
sure I'm more entertaining. I think, and I have a Kelly Ripa story. I never met Kelly Ripa. A friend of mine went on a date with her because she's from the Jersey area. And I'm sure she didn't have a good time because the guy was corny and whatnot. But I partied with her sister one time. I partied with her sister,
The
and
whole
her sister.
story.
Yeah, that's the whole story. But her sister. But I was told by
You
the
accuse
guy.
me of name
I
dropping?
was friends with the guy she was with, and we were DJing something, whatever. And he goes, "She's Kelly Ripa's sister, but don't mention Kelly. Like, don't talk about it." I'm like, okay, I won't talk about it. But she wasn't snobby. Her sister wasn't snobby. Her sister was really cool, really down to earth, and really, really nice. I really like. She was cool people. She was cool people to hang out with all night.
And that's your whole
But
Kelly Ripa story?
that's my Kelly. I almost got. I met her. No, I did not say anything about your lame Mike Douglas story with Carol
Hey, my
Chandler.
Mike Douglas story was great. Come on.
I mean, your
Uh,
Mike Douglas story was Alex Haley by association. My Kelly Ripa story is me actually meeting her sister.
but that was by association. Come on. Jerry O'Connell is now on the Talk. Okay. See, I
They
don't
got a
think I've
guy.
ever even watched the Talk.
Wait a minute. I thought the talk was all women.
No, I guess not. Evidently not now. Not with Jerry O'Connell, who, by the way, has come a long way. I still can't believe that's the same kid on Stand By Me.
Yeah, the fat kid on Stand
That
By
does
Me. Yeah,
make you feel
he looks
old.
totally different. He looks.
Although he was on a show called Sliders. Do you
Yeah, I
remember
love
that
that show.
show?
I used to
Oh, I
love
love
that
that show
show.
too.
I used to
Oh my god!
love that show. That was a great show.
And
It got corny towards the end, but it was a great show.
yeah, it was getting far fetched during the end, but I did love Sliders. But you know what? And if we could just derail for a second, and I'm sorry, I'm taking this off.
Let's derail.
Derail. No, because I've been totally into streaming since I lost all my like premium services. I don't watch cable anymore, and I'm missing them though badly. I'm like jonesing for them. And then I had this Fire Stick app. this IPTV that I was getting a lot of stations. I lost that. So I'm just like, so anyway, I'm looking for new and different things to stream. And I've
You know?
discovered I am DB TV. Internet
Oh,
Movie
really?
Database has a TV station. And evidently they have a show called Leverage Redemption. And I used to love the original Leverage. But if you ever watched that show, I think it used to be on TNT or TBS.
I
But
remember Leverage. I remember Leverage.
you
Yeah,
remember Leverage?
I
The
remember Leverage.
drifter, the hitter, the I forgot, hacker. Anyway,
Yeah,
all these criminals would come together, and basically it was kind of like a Robin Hood kind of, let's, you know, steal from the rich, give to the poor, like they
yeah.
were righting wrongs for people. But anyway, that show is back, so I've been binging that, and that's been really good.
You know what I've been binging lately?
Yeah. So if you
Bruce, what's
Bruce
going on,
Roberts,
Bruce?
I,
Bruce in the
we don't want to talk
house.
to him. We don't want to talk to him. He's coming
Why
back to
don't?
Irondale Statesville schools, and he's not coming to my school. But no, I'm sorry, nothing but love. I love Bruce Roberts.
I
But
don't like
Leverage
Bruce.
Redemption, check that out. I actually enjoyed it.
You know what I've been binging lately?
What?
Smallville.
Smallville.
I've
I
been
never
watching
got
all
into
the old.
Smallville.
I've been watching all the old episodes of Smallville so I can write an article about them. I'm on season 6. So I had to get through all of the seasons so I can write an article about Smallville for the website that I write for. So
Okay.
yeah, Smallville.
That's Obsidian Nomad or
ObsidianNomad.com. But
okay.
I'm watching Smallville and I'm like, you really can't tell that Clark has powers? Like you say, oh,
Well, that's the whole Superman thing. I mean,
no, they go,
you know what?
oh,
Hold on.
the person's at the windmill. Oh, they're at the
Kathy
windmill.
Walker, pop culture kid. Kathy Walker, principal of a middle school. You can't tell the difference, can you? I'm sorry. I'm in a very weird place.
Oh, yeah, but they go, but see, what the thing that happens is they say there's an emergency somewhere, and they're talking about it while they're not looking at Clark, and he's in the room with him, and then they turn around, Clark's gone because he uses super speed to leave, but they don't catch on that he uses super speed to leave. So next thing you know, he's 10 miles away, all the way across town, saving the person, and nobody says, "How did you get there that fast?" And when they do say that, he always has an excuse. Like,
Okay.
and nobody catches
You're
on.
getting
Like,
us way off topic.
okay.
Back from Smallville, because we're not going to help you write your article tonight. Back to the talk shows. The one daytime talk show we didn't talk about was Wendy Williams. And again, I think she follows that format too, because usually I think she tries to combine a little bit of the elements of like shows like The Talk, The View, and then
Yeah.
bring in some of that kind of Ellen, Rosie O'Donnell, let's interview somebody element to it. Moving on, let's talk about
Well, wait a minute.
nighttime talk shows.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, before we go any further,
Mhm.
we haven't mentioned the Dick Cavett show.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Dick Cavett show.
The Dick Cavett show. Now, I've never personally seen the Dick Cavett show because it's before my time when I was watching. No, I don't think I've ever seen an episode, but I've seen like past episodes and some of the interviews that Dick Cavett has done that I've watched on YouTube have been like, I remember watching one of Dick Cavett when he interviewed Jimi Hendrix. And he asked Jimi Hendrix, how's it feel being the greatest guitar player? And like people call you the greatest guitar player in the world. How do you feel about being the greatest guitar player? And Jimi Hendrix is extremely humble about being that. I forgot what he said, but it was something very appropriate and very humble. Like, look, I don't think I'm the best. And for somebody like Jimi Hendrix not to think that he's the best at playing guitar, I mean, there's Prince and then there's Jimmy. So come on.
Well, no, some people will say there's Jimmy and then there's Prince.
No, those people are high, but there's Prince and then there's Jimmy. But Jimi Hendrix is one of the best guitar players, one of the most phenomenal. And then I saw Dick Cavett do an interview with, and it was a very in-depth interview with Richard Pryor.
Mm.
So, and it was kind of like, and I think Dick Cavett had a way, from watching some of his other interviews too, he had a way of asking questions to people that were kind of like especially for those times in the '60s and whatnot. And he had a habit of asking. He had a way of asking questions that kind of got deep with the celebrities of those times when there wasn't a deep thing with the celebrities of those times. Like what you got was the media. And Ed, you are smoking some kind of crack to put Eddie Van Halen in the same category with Hendrix. And Eddie Van Halen was good.
Oh, no, Eddie Van Halen, probably one of the
He was
best
good.
guitarists
He
of
was
all time.
good. He was not. Oh no,
I could say
no.
Hendrix, Prince, Eddie Van Halen.
Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm.
Oh, oh, oh,
Prince,
okay.
Hendrix.
So thank you, Audrey, because we veer off. You thank goodness we have some pop culture kids paying attention, bringing us back to the nighttime talk shows. And again, like the Tonight Show is like the longest one running, and we have to get Ed. See again. Okay,
I
sorry.
think
I'm sorry. I had
I
to
want
get
to
that comment up.
I want to cancel the horror show.
No way. We making horror month.
There's way
You know
too
what?
much
We should
bootlicking.
let them host the whole month of October.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
So
There's way
you know
too much
what?
bootlicking here.
If we now we're going off on the greatest guitarist
Clapton.
and
Okay,
that's another
you
show.
know what? The
Let's
greatest
come back
guitar
because
player.
you know what?
That's another
I also
show.
want to
That's
say
another
with
show.
Dick Cavett that he had a like a week where John Lennon like co-hosted with him, and I've watched those shows at the museum, and that was just pretty cool and phenomenal. Um,
Audrey's comment.
okay, if we're gonna steer the conversation back to Die Hard, it is not a Christmas movie. And Kathy is 100% correct. So,
Oh,
anyway,
God.
when we talk late night shows, now the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson wasn't even originally Johnny Carson. Kenny, do you know who
No, it
the
wasn't.
original host of it was?
Jack Parr.
Jack Parr. And then you had Johnny Carson. Then you had the oh, you know what? Who we forgot? We actually forgot Joan Rivers, who had a daytime talk show, or was her show
Oh
at
yeah,
night?
that's
Her show
right.
might have been at night,
And you know who
huh?
performed at her talk show? You know who debuted had a TV debut on Joan Rivers?
Who?
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock? Okay. Oh, yeah.
Chris Rock.
Steve Allen, original host of The Tonight Show. We're going way
It
back.
wasn't Jack Parr or Steve Allen.
And there was
That's
a
way
whole,
back.
like, so actually, but then I guess, within the last couple decades, your name needed to begin with a J because you had Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, and now Jimmy Fallon
Jimmy Fallon. Yeah.
carrying on the Tonight Show. And actually, the Late Night Wars, that was a big to do between like Carson and Letterman. And I think earlier, was it Dion or Audrey? Somebody had proclaimed their favorite as Conan. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was Heather. She's probably not here.
That was Heather.
But she
That's Heather.
was at the beginning. Heather Ramirez from the Huddle Up and 1 to 100. My YouTube coach of awesome. So, but yeah, Conan O'Brien, who I love. Can I tell my Conan story? It's
Oh boy, Jesus Christ! Go ahead, tell your Conan story.
actually, I don't know if I can tell my Conan story because okay, you know what? Hold on for a second. Hello, you're on the air with Kathy and Kenny. Wait a minute. I'm doing something wrong. Hold on. Let me get it through the let me get it going through the
Don't go.
speaker. Hello?
Don't go nowhere. Whoever you.
Hello?
Hello, this is Ed calling from Sewell, New Jersey.
Kenny, can you hear that? Am I
Yeah,
doing
that's
something
Ed.
wrong here? It is Ed. Ed is on the phone. All right, hold on for a second. Let me
How
get the
are you tonight?
We are all good, Ed. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I couldn't could not give up the opportunity to give you guys a call. I just had one statement that I wanted to make about the talk shows, and that is Kathy is 100% correct.
Okay, get rid of her. Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. Hang up. Just
Yeah,
hang
Ed,
up.
you are getting yourself ready because you are going to be coming on to talk horror shows with us in horror movies.
Yes, I'm excited about doing it. Hopefully, the camera will be in soon. I'm thinking at the very latest, 21st or the 28th.
All right.
So, as far as that's okay, if that's good with you guys, I know.
Yeah, it's
John,
good. It's good.
we're prepared for everything. That this is going to be just so much fun.
Okay, yeah, okay, get rid of him.
That is
We're
going to
done.
be awesome. We can't wait. Ed, thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. Kathy's 100% correct. Okay. Keep
Thanks,
it
Ed.
moving. Keep it moving.
Oh, awesome. Ed on the line. Keep it moving. Is this show considered a talk show? Yes, when we don't
Yes.
deteriorate into who knows what.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I would
I
be
got
remiss.
I got to actually see Conan O'Brien live. Again, living in New York, that was one of the cool benefits of living in the city is sometimes again getting tickets, getting to see some live tapings of shows. And what was really cool is I would again I jeez, I can't even remember. I think I got to see David Letterman live too a couple times. Conan I only saw once, but I just went on a whim and I had like ordered tickets or something, and I was by myself and I was just hanging out. And they herd you in and you get to watch, but usually comics do the warm up. And as it happened, a comic friend of mine, and I am blanking on his name, I can only remember his first name, is Mike. And meanwhile, he was a writer on the show, Emmy award winning writer, and I can't remember Mike's last name for the life of me. But anyway, he was a writer on the show, but he was also doing the warm up, and he's going around working the room. And this is a dude that I've done comedy shows with. He's driven in my car because at the time I had a Saturn and I would drive comics everywhere to get an opening spot. Hey, I can give you a ride, and boom, there you are. Half of being a comedian was having a car back in those days. But in any case, so he was doing his warm up, and and I recognized him, and I didn't say anything because he's doing his act and warming people up and getting them ready for the show. Well, after he finished the warm up, before Conan comes out to give his thing, he kind of like runs up the stairs, and the audience is like, "Hey," and speaks to me and everything. He's like, "Hey, you know what? When they get ready to send you out, just hang here for a minute, and I'll come grab you." And so then he went backstage. We watched the whole show, and at that point, because I guess I knew the warm up person, everybody's looking at the row like, "Well, who is she? What is she that?" Well, anyway, after the show, he actually took me around. I got to see like behind the scenes for studio, like, you know, 3B or 8H or whatever it's called. Because I also got to see like the Saturday Night Live backstage and all the Conan backstage because they all use kind of some of the same sets and set pieces. So I got a nice little behind the scenes NBC tour. So that's my
Did you get to meet
story.
Conan? Did you get to
I
meet
did
Conan?
not get to meet Conan. No.
Then it's not a good story. You wasted. I thought that story was going to end up with you saying he introduced you to Conan.
I didn't meet Conan.
But that's not. That's what I thought the buildup was. Like, you knew the guy, he took you backstage, and you met Conan.
Didn't meet Conan.
Did you meet any of the guests that was on the show that night?
I didn't meet any guests.
Okay, so moving right along.
But I get to see like behind this. Although Saturday Night Live was a show I never got to see when I was in New York. So anyway,
Yeah, that would
moving right along.
Well,
also in the late night category.
When you were in New York, though, the Saturday Night Live wasn't that great. I don't think it had a great
Oh,
cast at that time.
well,
It was in
no,
that lull period where the cast wasn't that funny. Yeah, Sailor Moon wasn't that funny. Wasn't that funny?
the Robert
You didn't
Downey
miss it.
Jr.
You didn't
years,
miss anything. Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Michael Hall
So,
time.
but we'd be remiss if we did not mention
You didn't mention
and I
Stephen
think this is
Colbert.
very innovative. Okay, I'm getting there eventually. We'll get there eventually. But what I want to talk about now is Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall. Woo, 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 woo.
Because his late, yeah,
dog
woo,
voice.
woo, 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 woo. His late night show came at a time when In Living Color was very popular. And then
Mhm.
Arsenio came on, and it was a very ethnic centric show. And I think that's something that at the 90s at the time that America kind of needed. And it was something that was very like, it was very hip. It was very like, now and today, and it was very the Dog Pound loved Arsenio. Yes, the Dog Pound. I think Arsenio Hall is very pivotal in talk show history.
Definitely.
It did a good thing. I remember seeing a show. It was a clip. I think it was on. I remember seeing all the shows. My favorite Arsenio Hall show, of course. I have two favorite moments on Arsenio Hall. He did one show where Patti LaBelle co-hosted with him, and Prince performed the whole show. He didn't talk to Prince, but Prince performed the whole show. And he had another time where he actually did talk to Prince. And then there was one time when Guy was on the show. Guy was on the Arsenio Hall show and had this song,
Prove me,
Groove Me, Baby, Tonight.
baby.
And at one point they go, it ain't over. The party ain't over. The party ain't over. And they did that in the song. And the party ain't over. Then they play like a reprieve of the song again. And then Arsenio Hall comes out and he goes, like, at the first break, he goes, all right, God. And the guy looks at him and goes, hey, man, the party ain't over. The party ain't over. Nah, man, the party ain't over. Party ain't over. And then they start playing again, and Arsenio Hall is dancing the same moves with Guy, and they're all dancing the same. It was kind of cool. But it was one show Arsenio Hall had protesters in the audience. It was on YouTube. He had protesters in the audience. And these protesters were LGBTQ, and they were saying how he didn't have certain guests on his show that were gay or whatever. And he's like, I've had Elton John on my show. I've had this person on my show. And he's like, I've had guests on my show who were gay but didn't come out as don't want to come out as gay, so you don't know that they are. So he was saying and he kind of put the guy, like, he goes, why don't you go? Why are you here harassing me? Why don't you go harass Johnny Carson, somebody like that? Saying that, you came to the black guy's new show and go to somebody like Johnny Carson. That's why they don't have, like, a gay night or something like that.
Well,
But I think
again,
Arsenio Hall also.
that's what happens when you
the first-
heckle a comedian.
Yeah, and Arsenio Hall also did something that wasn't done since Laughing, the TV show Laughing. Arsenio Hall had Bill Clinton as a candidate in his band playing
That's right.
saxophone.
Playing the saxophone. That was he was kind of known for that. Additionally, with late night shows, you had James Corden with the Late Show. Before, because I believe was it Stephen Colbert or who had that Late Show? Well, I know there's also like Seth Meyers has a late show. Jimmy Kimmel Live, because I think at one point ABC was kind of like, we're doing the news. Let them do their late night wars, CBS and NBC, and we're just going to do the news. Finally, they gave in and came birth to Jimmy Kimmel.
We're all
and
business.
Even now, like Jimmy
news.
Kimmel and folks like Jimmy Kimmel and Colbert and Jimmy Fallon are all kind of like I would say friendly. Like there's not that like sense of competition. Like I guess that there was between like
Yeah.
Leno and Letterman and that
Well,
whole competing for gas and competing for
and
attention.
yeah, and I will say you have to give James Corbin a little bit of
Corden,
credit for being a little
Corden.
innovative because the Corden, yeah, because the carpool karaoke thing just blew up.
And I think,
And when they had
and again,
Michelle,
that
and we
probably
had Michelle
that
Obama on the carpool karaoke. We had Michelle Obama on the carpool karaoke, and all of a sudden Missy Elliott pops up when they're doing like "Get Your Freak On." That's classic. That's classic.
well, I think Michelle Obama did probably more stuff with Jimmy Fallon because some of their bits were hysterical, from the mom dancing to them sitting in the elevator or being at, people would they would open the elevator doors and you just see the two of them and
You know,
getting people's reactions to it.
I really
But
think
you know what?
Michelle Obama could be. I think Michelle Obama could be an actress because she was on she did a bit on Ellen one time too, where they were in a department store signing books, and they were signing her book, and Ellen was like, and she was telling just like telling Ellen off, and like, why don't you go somewhere? Like she was, and then one time she was on a TV show iCarly. So Michelle Obama, I think she could probably be an actress or have her own talk show.
Or have her own talk show, have a talk show of her own. I think with James Corden, you mentioned the carpool karaoke, and I think even that bit, the fact that it was kind of tailor made for like video and social media, so that you could post it on a YouTube to get hits or on a Facebook as a video, really helped that whole thing kind of take off.
Right.
And as we talk about that, that also takes us into our last group of kind of talk shows, and that is the cable talk show. And one of the ones I think that not launched, but like a show like Talk Soup. Talk Soup, I
Yeah.
think, kind of gave way to like the Daily Show. And the Daily Show, from the Daily Show, you had like the Colbert Report. And again, some of these shows you have listed here, Kenny, I would consider them news shows and not really talk shows in the vein that we are talking about, that really kind of focuses on, I think, celebrity interviews and that entertainment element. Because you put shows on here like Fox and Friends and Morning Joe. And even though they do interview people, usually it's news and noteworthy people as opposed to just kind of interviewing. And I think even the Colbert Report kind of falls in that news category too, even though it was kind of like mock mock news, or not a mockumentary, but like kind of mocking the news. The other show, the talk show that's kind of interesting, that kind of ties in with our last group of talk shows. We were talking about late night shows, and that's Real Time with Bill Maher, which started as a kind of late night show, I think on ABC, and because of some of the comments he made, was taken off the air. And again, it was kind of silly that they took him off the air for saying things that were politically incorrect when the show was called Politically
Incorrect.
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 Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, and even on the show now, I mean, he has said things that are politically incorrect. Some I agree with, some I definitely don't. But anyway,
Yeah.
now he is on HBO, but I don't have HBO anymore, so I haven't seen the show. So anyway, but there's another guy too who I like, who kind of came from I guess I think he came from the Daily Show. Oh, who's that guy?
Stewart.
He
Jon
no,
Stewart.
not Jon Stewart. He does a Sunday night show. Um, oh goodness, what is that?
I don't know who he is.
What is that dude's name? It's on HBO too. And see, I don't have HBO anymore, so I don't know what
I
what
have
it's called.
HBO and
But it's
I
like
don't
Last Week
remember.
Tonight with
I don't
John
watch it.
Oliver. I'm sorry.
John Oliver. Okay.
It all came to me. Gosh, I hate getting old. Getting old is no fun, people.
I age gracefully and still
The
look good.
humanities. But no, last week tonight with John Oliver, but that's not really a talk show. He kind of does talk at you for the whole 30, 40 minutes, but he doesn't really do interviews. You also had on here Red Table Talk. And is that even a cable show or is that just an internet show?
Well, I put it with
That's
the
the
internet.
shred.
It's the internet. It's an internet show. I put it with the cable show, but it's an internet show. But Red Table Talk is a talk show.
Okay. But then we have, and I know I was surprised you even put this on here because you don't like him.
I don't like Howard
I
Stern, but I put it
love
on there
him.
anyway. Yeah.
And
Go on.
you know what? And here's the thing, because when I lived in New York, it was so funny because my roommate Donna Morgan, I am dropping names. Um, loved Howard Stern and would listen to it, and me, I was just like, I don't want to listen. Oh, he's a racist and misogynist and blah 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 and racist and sexist and blah blah. And I was just saying all this stuff about him until I actually listened. And if you actually listen to him, it's again some of the stupid sex stuff is just dumb, but some of it is actually pretty interesting and actually kind of intriguing. The way the staff interacts is pretty funny, in my opinion. But since he's been on satellite and Sirius XM, and I have Sirius XM. I think he's off for the summer, but what they are playing are each week is a theme week of his interviews. Now, his interviews, you want to talk a talk show. Now, he had a talk show, yes, on WWOR in New York. And I don't know, I think it was local to New York, but then it was syndicated and it was on a cable station. I don't think it was it Comedy Central or I can't think of what cable station, but it did air. It was on E. He had the E show that aired at night that again grew out of his Channel 9 show where they did it was more like kind of sketches and some interviews. But on Sirius XM, when he sits down and interviews people, like the long form interviews where he is talking with celebrities for like sometimes up to 2, maybe even 3 hours, it is really good. I mean, he really has mastered that format of being able to get these people to talk about things, and also whether the research that goes into it, they start peeling off the layers, and again, it's not like just the surfacey interviews that you would usually hear where a publicist is sitting kind of next to the person kind of feeding them what to say. He really probes and gets really good stuff out of these interviews. And Kenny, I tell you, I know you don't have Sirius XM, but I guess 2 weeks ago you would have loved it because it was superheroes week. So he was talking to people like Robert Downey Jr. and all these actors who play some guy who plays on he played the Penguin on the what is that? What was the TV show about
Gotham.
Batman?
Gotham.
Gotham on Gotham and
Mhm.
Robin. What's his name? Robin something. Anyway,
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
but he just did. They did just so Scarlett Johansson, just a week of all these long form interviews with celebrities who had played superheroes. I think this past week was all sports interviews, and like each week over the summer they've been like focusing. One week it was all singers, and then like TV, stars. There was a comedians week, but yeah, see.
Oh, would you stop, Ed?
Three
Stop it.
times a charm.
Like, all
Yeah.
right, Ed, you're doing the horror show. You don't have to kiss butt, okay?
See, and that's it exactly, Ed. I hated Howard Stern till I actually listened to him.
Yeah, you
And
guys are so easily impressed. I'm good.
it's not that we're easily impressed. And again, and being someone who has done comedy and realizes the nuances of it, I grew to appreciate the comedy of Howard Stern. Is it my favorite type of comedy? No, but I do have an appreciation for him and for the art form and for his skills as a talk show interviewer. Because I mean, masterclass, my friend. Masterclass.
I'm gonna have
Baba
to get
Booey
some
to
kind of.
you all.
I'm gonna have to get some kind of. I'm gonna have to get some kind of control boards here or something that I can, because we gotta, between Audrey and Ed, we have to do some kind of censoring thing here.
No, no censor, baby. We're
We got, we
uncensored.
got, we got, we got to censor people. When I say stuff,
Kathy
nobody
is
says,
right.
"Oh."
Kathy is right.
When I say things, nobody says, "Oh, Kenny's right." No, nobody shows Kenny any love.
Don't
Kathy's right.
pander. Don't pander.
Oh.
Don't pander. Don't pander. Uh, guys, we love and appreciate
Nobody should.
you
No, we don't love and appreciate
all
everybody
for
because
being
nobody shows
here,
me no love.
being a
Damn it,
part of the show.
I'm good.
Hey,
Right. Oh, she's 100% right. Ah.
hey, you can support the show. Buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/kwalk comedy. Also, really simple and easy way to support the show is by clicking that like button, subscribing to us on YouTube, or, hey, just coming back next Saturday night to talk about your
Yeah,
favorites as well.
go
with
ahead and
us.
buy Kathy a coffee because I don't drink coffee. Yeah, just buy Kathy a coffee.
All right, there you go, Kitty. There you go. We're showing you some love. He says you're 100% right. Is on Die Hard. That is a Christmas movie. Agree with
Yeah,
Kathy.
it is a Christmas movie. Thank you, Lisa. I
Yeah,
love you
Kitty,
too,
you are
Lisa.
loved. You are loved.
You
Your
know,
cousin loves you. I love you. And again, we love all you. Thanks so much for hanging out with us for yet another Saturday night. We will be back next week. And again, later on in the month, look for our pop culture kid, Ed and Dion, whose shirt you sent me the address, Kenny, and I have not gotten that in the mail. Like I said, it's kind of been busy and I've been a little crazy. I will do that this week. Just send me a text and remind me, okay?
okay. I don't know if that he said the 21st or the 28th.
Okay. Well, we'll see. When the
So
camera gets in, we'll get
if they
everything
don't,
hooked up.
if we don't do the show on the 20, if we don't do the horror show on the 21st,
I don't want to wait till October because we'll do another horror show. They can come back in October and do one too for Halloween.
yeah, we can do a Halloween show in October.
But we
But
want to get a horror show in before the summer's over.
yeah, and yeah, I have some idea. I'm not going to say anything now. I have some ideas for next week.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, we
So
can talk
next week it'll be a surprise. Hey.
It'll be a surprise. I don't know where that voice came from. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying to get people to like me. Okay, so Ed says no later than the 28th, I promise.
All right, we'll get it in. We are going to get that in. Kenny, they like you. They really, really.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't like me. You don't like me.
Well, you know what? Like it or not, our time is over. I'm so glad we had this time together.
Together, just to
Sing a
sing
song,
and sing a song.
have a laugh or two.
Have a laugh and
Because
sing a
we just
song.
get started, and before you know it,
Comes the time we have to
say
say so long.
so long. Okay.
Good night, everybody. I'm a little bit
Good night.
country, and I'm a little bit rock and roll.
I'm a little bit of Memphis and Nashville with a little bit of Motown.
Motown in my soul. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I know I love it so.
I'm a little bit country, and I'm a little bit
rock and roll.
May tomorrow be a special day. May you find love and happiness along the way. May God keep you in his tender care till he brings us together again. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. What was Sonny and Cher's song? What was Sonny and Cher's exit song?
I don't know. Did they have a closing song?
I don't know. That is one we could do. We could do variety shows. Oh, celebrity variety shows. Yeah.
There we go.
Like the
All right.
Flip Wilson
We'll be
show.
doing some show next week. Please tune in. Kathy and Kenny playing pop culture. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next Saturday.
God bless your soul and keep living. Peace.
Thank you for geeking out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture.